All right, welcome back. We are in Daniel chapter 10, and like I said, we're going to go back and look at just a few of the last things that are mentioned in Daniel chapter 8, because we didn't have time to touch on those, but I do think they're very important, especially looking at this last week, this last group of 7, because a special attention is given to it. And in this last group of 7, it says that a prince of the people makes a covenant for 1 week. Now, again, this 1 week would be equivalent to 7 years. 7 years. And it says in the middle of it, so at 3.5 years or so, he cuts off all sacrifices and offering. And at this point in time, it says this abomination of desolations will come. This abomination of desolation. This is something that Jesus references in Matthew chapter 24, verse 15. He says that when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by the prophet Daniel, standing in the holy place, he says, let the reader understand. And so, and it continues on, but we're not going to go through a lot of that. If you want to read that, go to Matthew chapter 24. It's called the Olivet Discourse. It's when Jesus is talking about the end of all things, the destruction of the temple, and his return. And if you continue reading in verse 24, chapter 24, getting to verse 29, we find out this, that Jesus says that the abomination of desolation must occur, and then after that, there is this great tribulation. He will come, and he is going to return. So that's kind of rounding out Daniel chapter 9. A lot of information there that you can discuss you can discover and look into for yourself, looking at these different weeks and the various understanding, interpretation of them. Again, the big picture of that is that God has not forgotten Israel. He's not forgotten his people, and he has a plan for the future, and it is going according to his will. So now we're in Daniel chapter 10. And in Daniel chapter 10, Daniel sees a vision of a man, of one who looks like a man. And it says here in verses 4 and following that when he sees this man, he actually has some people with him. Some companions are there with him. And he is at the banks of the Tigris River. And he looks up and he says, behold, he sees one. He's clothed in linen, has a belt of fine gold around his waist. He has the appearance of lightning. Eyes are like flaming torches. Arms and legs gleamed like burnished bronze. And he says his words sound as if a multitude. When you read this, you start to wonder and you start to ask this question, well, who is this? Daniel his strength is zapped at the mere appearance of this individual, and he falls down to his face. The companions run away, and it says that they don't hear the voice. They just are terrified as to what's going on. And so they don't hear the voice. They don't get the vision like Daniel does. But Daniel falls down. And so we're left wondering this question, who is this figure? Well, the figure then reaches down, and it says he touches Daniel, sets him up on his hands and knees. And I love this passage. It says this, O Daniel, man greatly loved. O Daniel, a man greatly loved. Greatly loved by whom? By God. This figure has come, and he is bringing a message to Daniel, and his first words that he is delivering to Daniel is, Daniel, you are known by God, and you are known by the servants of God and the hosts of heaven. And to me, this would just be one of the most amazing things to hear, that one who is sent from heaven, from the spiritual being, which there's a debate, is this actually a pre-incarnate version of Christ, or is this an angel? It seems most likely that this is not Christ, because he also indicates that he had a struggle and that he was being resisted and he needed the help of Michael. Well, Jesus would not need such help. He would not need the help of Michael, a created being, to deliver a message. And so we believe it's a spiritual being, an angel on the order similar to like Michael. Perhaps this is Gabriel again. Many people think this is in fact Gabriel. But anyway, what an amazing message that you get from this being, that God says to you, man who is greatly loved. He comes to me and says, I have a message for you. I have a message for you from God, because you have been crying out and you've been serving God, and you have inquired of God about the end and about the things that are transpiring and taking place. And He says, I'm here to proclaim to you what is yet to come. I'm here to tell you and to inform you. You've been praying, and it has been noticed, Daniel. It has been noticed that you have been praying. Now, we jump down into verse 18, and again we hear this, and I can't stress this enough, and that how much to me this is so significant and an amazing thing. It says, and again, the one having the appearance of a man touched me and strengthened me. And he said, O man, greatly loved, fear not. Now this is another person who came in, another being who comes in to help strengthen Daniel. Daniel is zapped. This vision overwhelms him. He has no strength. He says he's on his face. And he has been fasting for 3 weeks at this point in time. So he has no strength because of that, but also because of the alarming nature of this vision and what he is seeing. And so he is strengthened by this one who brings him up, and he says again, O man greatly loved. And he is strengthened. He says, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you from the book of truth what's going to happen. And this is going to continue on into Daniel chapter 11. Daniel 10 and 11 are the same event and account, and they just kind of flow into, and we're going to get into that next time. Daniel chapter 11, looking at the continuation of this visit that Daniel is getting from this heavenly being, say, we are here, O man who is loved by God, to show you what's about to happen. I'll see you guys next time in Daniel chapter 11.